energy and sweat that Craig has into the entire space of chat communication, and from
Everyone gets a bonus drip of sweat with every download.
there you go. There you go. So, but I would like to just give, Craig, kind of like what we did in Dallas, is just, give everyone a preview and understanding of the timeline, because, one of the things we talk about is constant innovation. And I know you started on really being a pioneer in the space, just from a user experience perspective, and designing out and specing out some of the best feature sets for communication apps literally over 2.5 years ago, or 2 years ago. We got to a point as we were developing ours, we got 99% of it done. And the growth that we created because of the Rippln conversation gave us the opportunity to do a lot more. And so I'd love for you to kind of start this entire conversation out so people understand a little of the backstory, and then more importantly, give them a sneak peek on and some updates on what we're getting ready to release, in the upcoming 60 to 90 days, and the impact that you believe it's going to have in this marketplace.
Absolutely. So yeah, like you touched on, we've certainly got quite a history in building as far as what we've done so far with the original version. Like you said, 99.9% done. We were all using it internally, testing it and everything, and it was very cool. And it's a real shame that we sort of hit. It's a bittersweet thing. We hit the amount of users that we did, and so before we wanted to launch that to the marketplace, we got all the due diligence done on whether it could handle it from a back-end perspective without blowing up. And the grim reality was that it would not be able to handle the level of traffic and concurrent users that we were seeing based on the stats through the website. So we just literally thought it would be irresponsible to put it out there in the full knowledge that it wasn't going to be able to scale to what we already knew we were capable of scaling to. So that's what led us to just have to pull back essentially and reassess what to do next. And then instead of just diving off into rebuilding it the exact same way, we sort of just had to stop for a second, because it had been in production for over a year, and all the research before that, a lot of it was based around features that were hot at the time. But since then, as you can see on the screen, all the various competitors and people with different product offerings, but all with a sort of common thread. And we didn't want to end up in the position where we came to the party late versus basically inventing our own new party again with something new and innovative.
No, exactly. And this is one time that we really made a major adjustment because of growth. And one of the things that we had to make a pretty decisive and quick decision on is once we hit 100,000 users in 5 days, and that ramped up to 1 million in 60 days. We had to look at is what the reach of those 1 million people had once we released this app. And the reality of it is that if we got 20 million downloads of this app, then we actually have to have the bandwidth, the server power, and the middleware that is going to be storing all this information and kicking it out. And remember, tracking everything, because everything is connected in with that chat or the play tab that you just saw. Is we had to make sure that we could sustain that type of growth, because with that many users, we could reach 10, 20 million downloads, or 100,000, 200,000 people chatting at the same time. And we went out and got a third-party firm that is the best of the best to really do a full analysis of it. And they said, listen, your app is great. It has a lot of incredible features, and with filtering groups, because that's really what our core focus is, right? We understand how to build communities better than anyone in the world, and that's what Rippln is all about. And that's something that Craig truly focused on, is how to filter and how to utilize group communication as a real tool. All of those filters and feature sets will be introduced into this app. However, we'll toggle the release of it, which Craig can talk a little bit about later. But one of the things that we didn't want to do is put so many people on the app that we couldn't sustain the speed and the app would break. And so At that time, we said, you know what, let's completely rebuild it, and rebuild it for massive success. And in doing that, it really gave us an opportunity to innovate. And as you all are going to be the ones to start driving this communication tool out in the market, you're going to see it evolve version 1, version 2, version 3 very fast once we release it. But upon release, you're going to see something that the interface, the experience, there's nothing else out there like it. It's truly one of a kind. And I know that Craig got super excited because he loves to do dashboards like this and design layouts. And so, Craig, kind of tell us, how excited you got, and what your thought process was going into now having a clean canvas to really do something that hadn't been done and to innovate to bring more value to more people.
Yeah, I think there's just a big opportunity there to do something a little bit different. I mean, you look at all the apps that are currently out there, and they've all got a common thread running through them. They've all got like probably at least 50% or more overlap in the features, and even just in the way that you actually consume the apps and consume the messages and communication and the way you interact. They are all very similar. So it just left it wide open, I think, to look at it a little bit differently, and that's what we did. So we just tried to say, okay, well, what are people not doing? What would be cool? What do people like about all these social apps that are out there, such as Instagram and other ones that have more of a social style feed? How could we introduce something like that into the whole communication and messaging space, just so that people see something a little bit different and fresh, and keeps the experience really fun. So that's essentially what we did. We literally just went back to square one, and came up with a whole new concept which delivers the correct feature set, I think, which we need, and what will evolve into just like the original app, but we'll do it in such a way, like Brian said, where we'll stage it, and we're sort of leading our front foot with video to start with this time, and then we'll basically make up all the other features as we hit the road. But we don't want to try and basically bite everything off and make everyone wait another year to get all those features, versus coming out with an MVP, minimum viable product, that we can get out there and start using.
Very cool. So kind of walk us through what we're going to experience here in upcoming fall, once we turn the Rippln Communicator app on.
Yeah, so on screen here you can see this is the core of it. This is the main activity feed. So I'll just explain a couple of things here, because once you get the general concept, I think everyone will understand pretty quickly how the general concept works. So what we're looking at here is a feed which can be scrolled vertically up and down, just like you would with a Facebook feed. And when you do that, you're actually scrolling through the different conversations that you have with your friends. So on screen, you can see you've got Casey Affleck, which is one conversation I'm having. If I kept scrolling down, then I might have one with Brian, I could have one with Terry, I could have one with all these different people. And that's where I'm scrolling vertically. However, instead of then just clicking on one of those conversations and then having to go into another whole page to communicate with that person, I can simply swipe left and right to access the conversation and the history of the conversation with that person, and respond to them directly from this feed. So it actually sort of fuses multiple steps and screens into one simple interface with lots of interaction.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, to me, the user interface here is just so easy. It really goes into what a term I learned several years ago called Twitch marketing and Twitch usability, meaning in today's market, everyone's on the go, and that's really what apps are meant to do. They're meant to make our life easier, right? As we're on the go, to where literally we can just pull out our phones, and with the twitch of our thumb, we can operate more effectively and efficiently. And that's what this interface does. But it also gives us truly a more social, interactive, and engaging experience, because of all of the the videos and the pictures being right there in front of us, it is a lot more personable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the cool things is that you can get inside the app and messaging someone so quick. So if you've received a video from someone and you open it up, it's going to be there at the top of your feed. And if you want to respond, you're literally right there where you can see the little camera button circled. You could tap and hold to instantly record up to a 15-second video back to that person. So without even having to do a click and go into another screen, then select the messaging format and so on. It's just, it's right there at your fingertips.
It's Twitch marketing. It's literally done in less than 3 steps. It's boom, boom, and it's gone. And
yeah, exactly.
And that also helps with the speed of conversation and around the world. And one of the things that I think is important to note for everyone listening in is, remember, this is incentivized sharing. So this is absolutely free. However, a lot of people might want longer than 15-second videos, Craig. So are we going to be able to offer them, any other feature sets in the future to give them more time?
Absolutely. So there'll be a range of things such as that where you could actually get yourself to an unlimited status if you wanted. So there'll be various in-app purchases. So we're really trying to just lay the foundation where for a majority of people, giving them what is probably enough, but then for the power users and the people who use it a lot, ways to upgrade it and build it and customize it to suit the way they use it.
Excellent. No, I mean, it's very cool. And the cool thing about that is people will, want some of those premium features that might be $1.99, $2.99, $4.99, who knows what they are. But as those get released, all of those in-app purchases you're getting rewarded for as people within the communities are using these other feature sets, which is really cool.
Yeah, exactly. And as we all know from all the sticker craze, for example, where it's amazing how something as simple as sending people like little stickers and icons and things within a chat feed, for example, how many billions of dollars that generates for all the various apps out there. So it's it's begging for something else to come along that's equally as viral and cool, and to replace that current trend that's happening. We'll be right there at the front of it.
Very cool. So do you have any other goodies that you can show everyone just to give them a little bit more perspective?
Of course. So let's jump in here. So on the in the similar vein to what we're doing with the activity feed, we thought we'd also spice up the way you actually view and control your friends list. So what we're doing is, you can see on this screen, each line is actually a letter of the alphabet. So you scroll vertically for A to Z, and then you swipe left to right to actually scroll within that particular letter. So for example, if I wanted to look at or find somebody named Daniel, then I'd scroll down to D, and then I'd scroll left to right until I find them in there. So it's sort of more of a grid view, and just gives you more to look at. At once, and it's easier to access than having like 1,000 friends all in one vertical list. But the other cool thing it does is it lays the foundation for what we're doing with groups and communities, whereby we'll basically introduce the groups piece right onto this screen, where you'll be able to drag and drop to create new groups, which will be really cool.
Yeah, not only drag and drop, but all this can be done with one finger, A. And then B, the flexibility of it is you actually you can always override it and go right to the person's name through the scroll or the search feature as well.
Exactly, yeah. So you just pull down to reveal the search feature, just like most apps. So you can jump straight to somebody. Another cool thing as well is, if you come into the app and you just particularly want to send a quick message to a certain person, you can just jump straight into this friend screen. And once you've located the person, you can just tap and hold on their profile pic, and it will initiate a video message instantly, as you can see in the top left. So you don't even need to sort of go into their profile or anything to initiate a message. It's all just, once again, just putting the things that people do all the time in a real easy to access way.
Excellent. No, love it, love it. And then I see one of the things here which you might just want to touch on again, where it looks at Andy Jones. and you have the blue line going over to the video.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the push to hold, so push to record. So I could tap on Andy Jones and hold it, and it will initiate that screen in the top left. And so then as soon as I let go, that message will go to him. So yeah, that's where I haven't had to drill down into any other screens. I've literally recorded a message to Andy direct from his friend's screen without having to drill deeper.
Excellent. So, and I want people to hear that. The simplicity is what makes something very impactful in today's market. Soon as you see your friend, you don't have to click on them, go to the chat screen and then chat. Literally, you just press on Andy Jones, you talk, you let go, and he visually sees you, whether you're doing the camera that faces you or the camera that faces out. So, very cool stuff. And then, from there, Craig, the video feature and the sequence, I know that there's going to be a lot of cool features, not only in being able to send messages, but also, canceling out or deleting it before it gets sent and things like that. So talk about the hold to record or tap to record feature.
Yeah, so the hold to record is for the people who don't mind being candid and just start recording immediately. So from that home screen we were looking at before, when you tap and hold on the record button, it'll just jump straight into this recording screen. However, if you suddenly get stage fright or something goes wrong, you can just keep your finger on the screen and drag it down to that little trash can in the bottom left to actually cancel the message before it sends.
Cool stuff.
Then the tap to record, so we also have the option though to actually take your time, and so if you just want to tap once on the record button on the home screen, it'll take you into this mode where it gives you the ability to tap once, it'll start recording, then you hit, tap it again to stop, and then you've got the opportunity to replay the message if you just want to check it before it goes out, or you could refresh and start over basically before sending. So you've got both options.
Love it. Love it.
And then, yeah, obviously you've got the text.
It was funny. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said I've probably downloaded, 22 chat apps in the last 6 months, right? And someone was asking me about, what are the fastest moving growing chat apps, and I said, well, the new movement is really going into video and video communication, and what we're doing is really, I think, taking that to the next level. And what they're seeing here is the interface of it. But as we release version 2, version 3, version 4 on top of this, the amount of feature sets for those grouping in the community builds and using it as a tool is going to be, light years ahead of what anybody's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it definitely lays a great foundation. I mean, we've got a stack of stuff that we've got lined up for future versions and everything, but and it's all going to sort of be centered around this one simple interface, though, which I think is really cool. I've got a slide here just to summarize what version 1 is going to sort of have around it, and then what's going to come in future versions. So like version 1, for example, is going to be login only with an existing Rippln account. You can auto search your contacts for other Ripplers so that you'll have people to chat to straight away. And we'll be including video and text chat in version 1.
And the reason for that is to get it. I mean, there's two things. Remember, and I always use Facebook as an example because most of us understand it as a global view. Facebook started with very simple, basic features, and as we became users, we were trained on that platform. They started adding complexity, but they never added complexity before they had a base of people that were used to the interface, and that's exactly what we're following. As best practices is start simple where people can get the impact of the personalization of the video chat and video talking, and then as people get used to that and hooked on it, where it's their primary form of communication, then we integrate in a very quick fashion all of the community chats, the in-app purchases, the upgrades, and really incentivizing you now that you're experts using it and you have your core people using it. Now it's about incentivized sharing and really making a major impact. So one of the things, Craig, that I think you might want to help people understand is, version one is the key in the base, and once that base is there, you know, I guess the frequency of seeing different updates could be every 60 days, every 60, 90 days.
At worst, I'd say. I mean, yeah, that would be. It depends on the complexity of the features. I mean, ideally, we'd like to go into a more rapid iteration cycle than that, so that we're actually, giving new features and having the updates come through the App Store quite regularly, which I think is great to help keep you all engaged in what's happening, and so you can see the progression of things. So once again, learning from I guess the previous 12 months of trying to do too much at once versus just bite-sized chunks to keep delighting everyone.
Excellent. No, I agree 1,000%. And so, with that being said, I shared this story earlier with Andrea Galandrin and a group out of Boise, Idaho. But our original release date on our Rippln Communicator app was, I think, October 12th to November 12th of last year. Then in April, we were, like I said, 98% finished with the original version. And then by May, we knew that we couldn't sustain the demand that we had in the marketplace. And so, we really pushed our time frames back about 120 days or so for this communication app, or you could say a year in progress. But I think it's definitely worth waiting for. And I told the story this afternoon, about Bill Gates. And when he was releasing Microsoft Windows, he was 2 years late on his release date. And when they interviewed him, they said, you're late. The marketplace, they're mad about it. He goes, well, why would they be mad? We're not 2 years late. We're 5 years ahead of everyone else. And, the impact that this is going to have off of people communicating around the world, and some of the new feature sets that we have that will be added in over the next 6 to 12 months, that innovation alone to me was worth the wait, and everything happens for a reason. And I think, Craig, just on this public forum, I know that I understand how much energy and time and sweat and, you've put your whole life into this initiative. I mean, truly, you and your wife, Charlotte, that's what you all been doing for the last 30 months. And, I just want to tell you on behalf of the entire community, and I know everyone from Dallas to Russia to Minnesota, how much we truly appreciate you and thank you. And you might want to share with everyone, why you got so passionate about communication and chat, and what do you really feel that this app, based on the feature sets and the interface, the type of impact it can make? And you've seen every single one out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, I mean, I just love the process of creation and innovation. And I think just what the coolest thing to me about the whole project, as far as where we're at right now with this app, is that I truly feel like it positions us right there with the coolest of them, with the feature set and the look and the feel, and just overall the experience. I think is just such a powerful conversation to have with people when you attach it to the overall Rippln concept. So I think, standalone, it's another app in a big wide open marketplace. But when you actually tie it into the overall Rippln concept, then that's the gel, and that's what is the unique differentiator, I think, when it starts to tie into all the other things that we're also doing within Rippln. So I mean, yes, standalone, it's cool and everything, but it's the integration with the bigger picture, which I think is truly exciting.
And in closing, just to give them an idea, don't give away, don't give away the whole cookie. Just give them a crumble. But one of the features this will have on it is, all your Ripple One fans, that are on your Ripple One or players, when you download the app, you'll have instant access to them. Is that correct?
Correct. So that is in the hopper for sure. Is one of the that'll be one of the first iterations actually. That whole ability to be able to have that communication and ease of communication with your first Ripple by way of that becoming essentially a group that you have access to. So I think that'll be really cool.
Very cool. Well, I know it's early morning there, and I know you didn't go to bed till between 3 and 4 last night. You're back over in Australia. We can't wait to get you back here in the States. And
time for breakfast.
There you go. And say hi to Boris. Is that Boris on the front of the phone there?
It's Boris to be.
So Craig's new baby puppy Boris. So, but Craig, no, thanks for everything you're doing, and I know that we've taken a lot of everyone's time tonight. Hopefully, it's definitely worth it. And your vision's expanded, and you have a broader understanding, really, of some of the utilities like the chat utility, as well as the play tab and features that is really going to give you the competitive edge in the marketplace and allow you to really drive communities and create a ripple effect to go across the world. And so, with that being said, Craig, I'd love to just adjourn. Huge congratulations to everyone within the Ripple. Get ready to play a little photo guesseroo here in the upcoming weeks. Remember that we're using the marketplace of New Zealand and Australia as beta testers. So if you're in the U.S. market or other markets, it will be in that store shortly. Let us get through some testing on it to make sure we work out any bugs. And with that being said, Craig, any closing remarks?
No, just thank you also. All the thanks for all the nice remarks, and right back at you. And look forward to doing it all again.
For sure. Well, we'll definitely, and make sure that you're going to be at the October 25th event in Vegas, correct?
I hope so. It'd be a shame to miss out in Vegas.
My point by saying that is for everyone that's on the line, make sure that you get to Vegas and meet Craig, because as talented as he is, he's even a better person. So we definitely appreciate it. We are going to sign off. I'm going to turn it over to Michael Rutherford and let him shut it down, any housekeeping items. And we look forward to seeing everyone in Vegas. And with that being said, get your Ripple on.
Hey, Brian. Hey, Craig. Thanks so much for diving into everything. If you haven't read your phones or been on Facebook yet, people are losing their minds. So we're very happy that everybody could be on, get visuals of the Communicator app, the chat app, the Play tab, the information on Guesseroo, the updates on Vegas, and then also the upcoming Saturday Hangout Saturday morning at 12 noon Eastern. Guys, the game is on right now. There's no more sort of sitting on your hands and waiting to see what Rippln does. We've shown you what's happening, and it's really time to lace up our cleats and go to work. So, Brian, always a pleasure. Craig, super, super fun stuff. Thanks, everybody. Have an awesome, awesome night. Bye-bye.